it's a luxury to be able to handle bullshit. Like, I feel like people don't feel good about that anymore. And I think that's a negative.
Right.
Like, I feel good knowing
that I had a huge adversity thing that I faced and I conquered it.
I personally, it might sound a little crazy. I like bullshit.
Right.
Sometimes, like,
yeah, nah, but I'm saying,
I never like it in the moment, but after the fact, I love it.
Right, because you know it's like earning a stripe.
I'm unbreakable.
Exactly.
I'm literally unbreakable. Knowing that makes you feel like a man. That allows you to stand up in any situation. You never fear anything because you know you're unbreakable. When people know they are easily broken, you're always afraid of the world because anything can break you. Yes, sir. Back at it again. Back at it like a crack addict. Drunk Tourist Podcast in the building. It's your boy Yates from Atlanta, aka Wakanda.
I'm the other host, Jarrell from PO. You already know.
PO, you already know. I fuck with it. What we got going on?
Oh, yeah. Today, man, we getting back to the mental health topics. Do you think by a man not embracing his emotions cause mental breakdowns and depression in men?
Yeah.
Well, I guess when you say it's a stupid question because the question is. But why do you think that is? Why
don't men
other than the obvious, like, because you're a man, you're not supposed to embrace an emotion. But I think it's kind of deeper than that. Like, where do you think like that kind of attitude really stems from? I mean,
like, why don't men tap into their emotions?
Yeah,
I think one side of that isn't really talked about. It's a lot of power in not being emotional. You make better decisions. Like we've argued about this before, as far as allowing logic to overpower your emotions can make you seem very stoic and almost like AI, like automatic. You know, with the way you move, but you make better decisions when emotions are not involved. Emotions rarely allow you to make the wisest decision. Now, it might give you an amplifier to make you react faster, which can be a positive. But when it's just decisions, emotions rarely ever allow you to make better decisions. It might just work out that emotions give you a certain level of passion where you react in a way where it can work out. But in my personal opinion, emotions never help you make better decisions.
Right. That's real. So you think it's more so that it's a bunch of men that's more so not embracing it because they feel like they truly gonna make a bad decision with their emotions involved, or do you think it's more so them worried about how they appear to other people as far as strength?
I think it's more so like it's more role model based. So I think any man who's been around another man that's really been a standard in any aspect, whether it's business, relationships, it could be in the streets, it could be anywhere, most likely that man is gonna have a certain level of stoicness, like where he's not overly engulfed in his emotions. Like, he's just a decisive person who seems more disciplined, who pretty much has his shit together. Right. And usually that person it's rare that you think of somebody who's like the standard of discipline and they're an emotional person. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be emotionless, but it's just usually the people you look up to, they're not just crying about whatever.
Right.
You know, in my opinion. So I think it more so come from men trying to emulate what they respect, because whatever you respect, you're gonna wanna be like. And I think usually we grow up, even from little kids, I think we all find role models or just people we respect, where we just like, okay, this guy, you know, he's a great example of what a man is. What are traits that I like? It's rare that I can picture somebody saying, you know what trait I like, what trait I love about this person? He's very emotional and he be crying and stuff. Like, you never gonna see that. So it's like you learn to emulate what you see and what you respect. And usually when you are focused on one side, you know, it's the polarity and everything, so there's gonna be something you forget about. You're gonna learn that, hey, this emotion shit don't help you get closer to this image you're chasing. So, you know, you kind of run from it. And then at a certain point, you just look at it as like a negative, because it's opposite of whatever you're trying to be, most likely. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. How do you stay emotionally available without like feeling like you're compromising just the logic in a sense? Because this was kind of like another topic we can even draw into the next one, even if it draws into it. But like we was talking about women being attracted to a lot of men who aren't emotionally available. Like what? Like obviously you said that you believe that the logic behind it and whatnot. So I mean, I'm guessing that's probably what obviously some women see from an emotionless man. But at the same time, like women also express a lot that they want a man that's emotionally available and can communicate their emotions well. So like, how does that look without like being like a straight sob?
I think it's kind of layers to that question. I think I believe women want a man who is emotionally available, and I think they also will accept a man who's emotionally unavailable. I think what they really want is just a man.
Right.
I don't think how emotional he is a determining factor ever. I think it's something that later on in the relationship you want, but I think when you're trying to determine if this is somebody you want to be with, people say like, oh, I look for this, I look for that. People don't look to see if you're gonna cry. You know what I mean? People don't look to see if you're gonna open up right away. Like, that's not a worry. You want to see if he can protect you. You want to see if he can provide. You want to see if you can trust him to make decisions. You want to see if this is the person you want raising a family with. Those are the things you're looking for. Man shit, not emotion. In my opinion, it's such a new age ideology that like, you need to be so comfortable with your, like, I'm not somebody who's super, super comfortable with their emotions, to be honest.
Right.
I'll cry about family.
Right.
Like if I lose a family member or anything to do with family, but anything outside of that, I don't really see the purpose of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even with family, I only see the purpose of it if the family's there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless somebody passed. So it's like, I think, okay, going back to your question, my bad. I think they just want men. Now, I think for us men, I think one negative trait is we see connecting with our emotions as being willing to cry. I don't think that's true. I think connecting with your emotions is just having some form of self-awareness and being able to not only understand it, but verbalize it to your partner if need be. Like, I could tell my girl without crying that, hey, I'm really depressed.
Right.
I don't have to cry to tell her that. I don't have to curl up in a ball and be completely vulnerable to express that I need help. And I think that's a big issue that everybody see. People want, and I've talked about this to some of my homegirls before. A lot of women want their men to be extremely vulnerable so they can have, a little bit of that power dynamic of knowing, like, I've seen you at your worst. Because it would make you feel good that this person trusts you to that level. But also, it would be something you can hold over their head. So it's like,
I was there when you was crying and weak.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's real. That's real. Because men, we want to do the same thing. Yeah. We want to be there when you're at your lowest.
I like seeing you messed up because I know I can come save it. Nah, I mean, some people might think like that.
Look, if we all don't lie, everybody want to be a superhero that they make. So you do want to be there at their absolute shittiest moment in life. You want to be that life raft because that makes you feel good. That's human nature. Like, right or wrong, we all want to.
Do you think like the whole drama queen and drama king type thing in a relationship? Do you think that
I don't think it's okay for a man to be a drama king. I hate that.
You think it's okay for a woman to be a drama queen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. To what degree?
I don't really care.
Just to the point to where it's not.
Don't do it to the point where I don't want to be around you.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah.
Like, I think I like the polarity of my girl being very emotional. I love that.
Right.
Like, you can be emotional for both of us because I don't have to worry about making sure you understand that this is a big deal. When I see you cry, it's like, okay, you understand this is an issue. Okay, cool. That's cool. Right. I don't need to cry for you to know that. I can just straight tell you, like, look, I have an issue with this. This is what I plan on doing. This is where we're going.
Because I've been thinking about the drama queen and drama king stuff, and it's like kind of like.
What do you think about it? What do you think about a man who's a drama king? And I've never even heard that word before, drama king.
Well, I mean,
Because he's really a drama queen. What do you think about a man who's a drama queen?
I mean, I don't know. I think I'm pretty dramatic, but
In what way?
I think I'm maybe too verbal with my emotions. I would say.
You communicate too much.
Yeah, I think that would be like what I would consider maybe a drama king or a queen.
What do you mean by communicate too much?
I guess certain feelings and certain emotions that you go through doesn't always have to be shared.
I don't think that's drama. To me, when I think drama, I think of overvaluing the emotions to the point where you can no longer see logic. So like if you get upset about something, you start crying about it, and you like, you don't even feel, you don't understand. Like that to me, like I don't care anything as a man. I don't care anything about what you say.
Right.
Because you've taken it too, once you crying and stuff, you took it too far. Like you let this affect you too much. Unless it's do or die stuff, I don't respect you at this point because I'm seeing this side of you. And now I see you as a very weak person.
So what if a man, girl leaves him? You don't think crying is
crying in public or private?
I mean, okay, let's say if it's your homeboy, he's crying in front of you. It's not a public.
Just me? Only me?
Yeah, sure.
And I've known him for a very, very long time, and we trust each other on that level.
Sure.
No, because I'm saying, I got a lot of people who would consider me.
But I mean, if you say it like that, it's like okay, it's like
if you, I don't.
I feel like that's different though, because if it's your man's and it's somebody that you really confine to, and they really confine to you as a friend, like I feel like you're not gonna reject their emotions.
It depends on who it is.
But I'm saying if it's your man's, like you said, if it's your partner that you
if it's my friend,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying like I feel like that's an obvious answer just because it's like, of course, this is my best man.
But if this is somebody I'm not that close with and they're comfortable crying in front of me, that's gonna make me uncomfortable.
Okay. That makes sense. I guess how do I really refer?
Because like, who are you if you comfortable crying in front of me?
How you feel about dudes crying on IG Live?
Why? I don't get, because it's like.
So what's really the difference though between a man crying on IG Live versus a woman crying on live? So you think just because they're a woman, they just get the pass to just be emotional?
No, I think they're supposed to be more tapped in with their feminine energy. Now I'm saying as a man, I'm not saying you can't cry. I'm just saying have good reasons to. I can respect a man crying for a real reason. Any of my friends lose somebody and they cry, I'm there for you.
What about they lose their job?
I can understand that if that was a big part of your life. Like, for real reasons, I completely understand you letting that go.
Right.
I don't like when people cry about any and everything because it's
like a dude, like a I don't know. For example, the girl is not I don't know. The girl's not communicating.
Not listening to him.
You're not communicating with him as much as he would like, and he like overly whines about it to her. because
that tells me, like, to me, this is how I always look at it. So. Obviously, we all have emotions, and we all are emotional, and we all tend to not have complete control of our emotions. Emotions just happen, right? So, and emotions come when something knocks you off kilter, right? When something just knocks you out the ball. That's when your emotions take over because now you're no longer in your comfortable space, right? So, if a man is crying about nothing, right, something small, that tells me that anything can knock you off kilter. Anything can knock you off the ball. Anything can take your focus away. I don't want to be around that person. I don't want to be around you. You're naturally, to me, a weak person because you can easily be deterred from whatever you got going on.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong.
You take that.
But no, you good. I just
No, I feel that.
It's just like it's more so the principle of who are you, right? I respect somebody that can say, I'm in pain and I need help.
Right.
That's a completely different story.
That's true.
Now, when people just become emotional outside of that space of I'm in pain, to me, that says I want attention.
So where does the line differ from the point to where the man's being dramatic or emotionally depressed or down and that layer to him being depressed? Like, so we'll say like, obviously you feel like men should have that boundaries of emotions and stuff like that. Like, at what point does it get to, how do I really phrase this? Like, at what point does it really turn into depression? I mean, obviously, like depression is just something that's built over time. But how do you think like that reservation of your emotions build onto the depression?
I think.
Do you think it's because they have that feeling where they can't cry at any moment, and maybe they don't have like somebody that they can trust and be like, well, I don't have anybody to cry to because, I mean, obviously, but I don't have somebody to cry to, because I don't want them to, like how you said, like I don't really know this person like this, and I can't go into the world and talk about it because then they're gonna think I'm weak.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like how do they get to that point without being overly emotional? You know what I mean?
In my personal opinion, as far as that, I think that's the story we're told, right? That there's a strong man who's has a lot on his shoulders, he can't handle it, and then he breaks down because he has nobody to talk to. I feel like that's the story we're all told. What I really think happens, in my personal opinion, the majority, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just my biased view of the world and my ideology of what a man is. I think it's more so very weak men, not saying if you depressed you're weak, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's like this barometer, right? It's like this scale of a very weak man to a very strong man, right? And you gain strength from learning how to handle pressure. Learning how to accept the reality of bad things. Learning how to not cry when something hurts. Gaining a tolerance for pain. Whether that's actually physical or mental or financial or whatever. It's just building a tolerance to bullshit, right? A lot of people, they're so fearful of building a tolerance, they always run from it. And then when real pain actually comes, it's too much to handle.
Right.
That's why I don't like being, personally, if I peep that you're a weak person, I don't want to be stuck carrying you.
Right.
Because I understand when you go through something, I'm going to be your life raft all the time. And it's just, what were we just saying earlier? Like, I was saying about a whole bunch of bullshit. And what did both of us say automatically? Because we just know that's how I'm going to react to it. It's just like, oh, that's small problems to a giant, whatever. When that's really your mentality,
it's hard to get knocked down on that level.
It's really hard for me to really get upset for real. Right. Like when bullshit, like I just named hella bullshit I done dealt with in the last 30 days. None of that, I've never been upset for more than 10 minutes.
Right.
At any point in this month. And we talk about a lot of money I done had to spend in the last 30 days over like bullshit, stat, compounding, all kind of shit. And it's not because it's like, oh, I just got all this money put up, it's no problem. No, it's like real issues. Having to figure out how to move some shit around, figuring it out, and then handling everything. But because my mentality is, well, I gotta deal with it, I'm not gonna run from anything.
Right.
I'm never gonna get hit with a problem and be like, I'll deal with that later. No, I'm just gonna deal with it. So it's hard for me to feel bad from somebody who's always pushing their shit away. And then when it's too much shit under the couch, stuff under there, now I'm supposed to feel bad for you because you gotta deal with the bullshit you've been kicking under the couch. I'm a big believer in accountability. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I see myself as somebody who holds themselves accountable. So I expect that out of everybody around me. When a man is extremely emotional, that usually, and that doesn't mean always, but usually it's a telltale sign that they don't hold themselves accountable.
Right.
Because if you held yourself accountable, you're not going to be stuck in this place of being emotional over and over and over again. That makes sense?
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
What do you think, though?
Which part specifically?
Specifically about, let's go to the serious topic because we need to talk about that also. Maybe on another episode, but the fact that men do commit more suicide than women. Men tend to be, when it comes down to suicide, women, I believe, attempt more, but men actually do it more. Like, we're very, we
ready to get it done.
We get it done. I ain't about to slice this for saying.
I don't want to be a vegetable. I want to be dead.
Man, I'm out of here. So it's like, going back to the strength of men, and specifically when it comes to emotions, how do you think men should handle their emotions? What is the best way to handle. Let's make it very specific. Because it's easy to talk about broad, but I'm interested in, specifics. Let's say you lose your job and you have a lot of bills and you recognize you won't be able to afford where you live and your car might be possessed all in the next 3 weeks, and this man is very depressed, right? Let's paint that picture. Like he's messed up right now. Like he's depressed. How should he handle that?
And you say he's financially, he's good, like everything, like
no, it's bad. Financially bad because he lost his job.
Okay.
Most people live paycheck to paycheck. He lost his job. Right. He by the end of this month it's gonna be over with. Right now he okay. He got like this next 30 days. Then when
you said how do you like and how you get out of that situation depression? Like I feel like you said, I think it's that moment of realization. I think it's like that's what it's like. It's almost like I could choose to jump in this hole, this dark hole of pity, or I could choose this road of hard work. You know what I'm saying, and happiness. Because I feel like being depressed is something that is hard for everyone to avoid. Just because there's so many things. I feel like so many different weights of the world that just lean on everybody. That tires everyone out. So I feel like you gotta hold on to that beacon of light in that situation, in that I guess the wherever it is, the process that you're hoping for or the life that you want. I feel like first of all you gotta keep that in mind of where you're trying to get to, the end goal, and then on top of that, like you said, addressing the problems that you're facing like right now and really just owning up to it and just learning that you just gotta accept it. You know what I mean? And just learning that is just something that can't be changed. You can't do anything about other than your reaction to it. Like they say, you can't. The only thing that you can control in this world is your attitude. You know what I mean? That's the biggest fact, because it's like, if I'm depressed, I just lost my job. Okay, I can choose to sit on the couch and cry about it. Which is fine for a little bit. You can cry and soak in it and be like, damn, I lost my job, man, it's fucked up. But once you like breathe and you're like, okay, I just lost my job. How do I get out of this situation? The part that's making me sad is that my money's fucked up. So if I know that the problem is my money's fucked up, the first thing that should be on my mind is how can I get some more money now? You know what I mean? And I feel like once you have that realization of whatever it is that's not going right, it's like identify the problem, solve the problem, and then you can get over it. But I feel like you said, a lot of people live in this world where they just can't accept the truth no matter what. And it can be hard. Like, your freaking mom, your grandma, your fucking wife, anybody fucking dies, you're just like, of course it's gonna be hard to go on.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Something like that is super extreme. But nevertheless, it's something that happens in life that none of us can control, that we're gonna have to force to get over. Right. So it's like once you realize that's happening, I feel like the faster you accept it, the faster you can grow from it and build on it. So I just think like best thing you can really do personally is just try to just fucking take the shit on the chin, man, and just and really just try to eat it, which is easier said than done, but that's just how the world goes.
Would you consider that man shit?
Yeah.
I feel like when we were growing up, that's how we saw man shit.
Yeah, right.
Like we was like, a man deals with, like, if you get punched in the face, you eat it.
Yeah.
And you keep going. I feel like nowadays, and maybe I'm biased, I feel like nowadays man shit is considered overly communicating your issue with getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? It's pandering to this ideology of be more feminine. And I'm not trying to knock feminine men. Like, I feel like it's fine to be with, as long as at the end of the day you're a man with your actions. I don't even mind somebody who cry all the time if they dealing with shit. Like, I'd be cool with, if, let's say, in the scenario we gave, you lost your job, you lost everything, fucked up right now, super sad, crying all the time. But when I talk to you and you done crying, you like, yeah, but this what I got going on, this the plan, this what I'm doing, this what I've been doing today, this what I'm doing tomorrow, this the plan for the week. By the end of the month, I should be straight. I'm gonna figure it out no matter what. And if I can't, I understand I'm gonna have to break this lease, I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna have to, and this the backup plan. If that don't work, this what I'm doing. I can respect that man, because it's not the tears that I'm uncomfortable with, it's the type of people that tend to have the tears.
Right.
The type of people Don't be the people with this what I'm doing, this what I'm doing. The people who be crying about it be the ones who lay in bed all day crying about it.
Right.
And then when the end of the month come and they don't have no money because they ain't did nothing but cry the last 30 days, they be the ones like, woe is me, now I'm back at my parents' house, the world hate me, I'm an incel. I hate women, or I hate capitalism, or I hate that nobody cares to check on me, and this is a lonely world, and people should care, they should know I'm going through it. No, stop being a bitch. Like, that should be bothering the fuck out of, like, whenever somebody comes to me and they're simply being a bitch, like, you're simply just being a bitch. Like, you're not dealing with, like you said.
You're just whining instead of trying to figure out what's the root of, or how to fix the problem. It's like you bitching and crying about a tire for an hour when you could have spent an hour figuring out how to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have an issue with people being emotional. I have an issue with people allowing their emotions to overpower their logic.
Right.
Internally.
Right.
You can be emotional. Like, if you slap me right now, my logic is not going to be there.
Right.
For a minute, I'm gonna be extremely emotional. I'm gonna react, woo, woo. But later on, when I come back to my senses, I'm gonna be thinking about logically. Do I want to lose the podcast over this? Do he have a reason to say what he said? Was the reason why he hit me? Boom, boom. Can we get over this? Can we just shoot a fade? Whatever. Like, you can think. Like, I hate when people can't think, and I think that's my biggest issue with today. People are taught to overthink about the wrong shit, in my opinion.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and hold you because I think we're coming up short, so we can kind of roll this.
Nah, for sure. We'll go into the men's suicide.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up, man. We're gonna carry it on to the next episode of Drunk Tourists.
Sure.
You know, we'll get more into just why actually men commit suicide. Right now, we just kind of went over, you know, just what is being overly dramatic. Why do men embrace their emotions, and what's kind of the pros and cons of just you know being in your emotion,
being a man.
You know what I mean?
And it's a luxury. Let me just say this is the last thing. It's a luxury to be a man. Like, it's a luxury to be able to handle bullshit. Like, I feel like people don't feel good about that anymore, and I think that's a negative.
Right.
Like, I feel good knowing
that I had a huge adversity thing that I faced and I conquered it.
I personally, it might sound a little crazy. I like bullshit.
Right.
Sometimes, like,
but I'm saying,
I never like it in the moment, but after the fact, I love it.
Right, because you know it's like earning a stripe.
I'm unbreakable.
Exactly.
I'm literally unbreakable. Knowing that makes you feel like a man. That allows you to stand up in any situation. You never fear anything because you know you're unbreakable. When people know they are easily broken, you're always afraid of the world because anything can break you.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, we're going to end that note, man. Make sure y'all tap into the next episode of Drunk Tourists Podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms. You already know.
For sure. That was good.